All right, fellas, welcome to Press Pass Live. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. We got the whole crew back, man, and I have missed doing these. I've missed having the guys, but life has just kept us away. But we are back together. I am done with all of my trips, and so these will come out more consistently, and we're going to finish strong here in season 73. So without further ado, let me introduce my two co-hosts. We've got our buddy Hude. Hude, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, Nate. Good to be on here and good to have everybody back together.
And then, of course, we've got, oh, that's right. We've got the champ in Hude. I should have said that. Forgot. Sorry. And then we've got the
It's
other
all good.
ex-champ in D-Wayne. D-Wayne, welcome to the show.
Glad to be back, Nate. Glad to have the crew back together.
Everybody here is a champion, except for me. I'm not a champion. But let's jump right into this. If you haven't seen, I did plug this on Game of the Week, but if you haven't seen Game of the Week, you might want to watch this. GrownFolksOC.com. Check out the new site. It looks amazing. I'm so happy with how things are turning out. Super easy to post blogs straight to the website, and then it automatically makes a forum post. The forums are integrated. We're all on one page. We're all together, and I am absolutely loving it. Here in Madden 18, we'll have a OMFL, OMFL Coach, OMFL2 integrated pages, so that when you click that, it all looks the same, all feels the same, all works the same. If you look on the website, we have the scoreboard at the top. It's a lot of work to keep updated. Man, we are getting it updated. We're trying to work with OMFL Coach and OMFL2 to get theirs updated, so you can click the little side banner and you can see all the different options that we have there. So lots and lots and lots of good stuff. You need to go to it, check out the blog. Guys, before we get started, what do you think about the new site?
It looks great. I'm just happy to have everything all there in one place. I don't have to flip back and forth so much. And I'm really happy about being able to post graphics in our own place where it's all accumulative, everything's there, so you don't have to go digging for stuff. And I think it looks really good, and you did a great job on it.
Yeah, like Hude said, it makes it a lot simpler when you're not going back between two sites and everything being there. And like I said, it took some a little bit of adjusting to getting used to everything, but I love it. Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, and that's the point, is just to kind of help us all be together. Big shout out to Mo and a couple of the other guys who gave to early Platinum Award member for Madden 18. We are doing that. I'm not making a big push because I know it's the middle of the summer. Guys are getting ready for vacations, and there's not a whole lot of stuff that we need money for. But if you want to donate, hit me up. I'll make sure that we save your name and information for Platinum status for Madden 18 because we are going ahead and carrying that off. So let's get to why we are here. Season 73 has kicked off, my friends. We are in the middle of week 2. Games are coming in fast and furious. Lots of fun stuff. So let's catch you up with where we got here. Now, we did have an entire offseason that we didn't really get to talk about. We had a really great draft show. Thanks to Hude and even Madden Maniac who joined us on that show. You guys were absolutely amazing. D-Wayne, we did miss you on the show, but really great show. It is on the website, so make sure you go there and you listen to it. You can also find it in Discord. But biggest surprises of the offseason? That's a pretty broad question, but that might be free agency. That might be the draft. Let's start with you, D-Wayne. Biggest surprise for the entire offseason. What'd you think?
That's a tough one. Like I said, that's a real general thing. But I like seeing a lot of these teams that haven't been successful. I guess I can't narrow it down to one team, but the teams that, like I said, that had some down years last year, a lot of them reloaded in good ways. You look at the Giants, the Bears, they both came out of the gates. I know the Giants had a CPU game, but you got to take care of them too. The Bears come out 2-0. It's really paying off. Them guys coming in and taking over and putting their own imprint on their teams. And I think it's good for the league and good for everything else, seeing those guys come in and make a difference on their teams and turn around a losing culture and come out of the season hot like that.
I have to say, these guys are behind the 8 ball. Did not give them agenda this time. I told them I just wanted to hear them straight from the heart. We're going to wing it today. So I'm catching them upside the head with some really radical questions here. But we're going to power through. There's just not a ton to talk about, and I just want to kind of hear their overall thoughts. Hude, what do you think about the offseason? Any big surprises that jump out to you?
The thing that really jumps out to me is we still have teams with $30-40 million in cap space. We got a team with almost $80 million in cap space. It's like, what are you doing, fellas? I mean, it's fake money. You can't take it with you. You know, and these teams that have the money, it's like, for example, the Buffalo Bills. He tried real hard to build his team. He's really into it. I just don't see how he ended up with that much money. Like, that's a star caliber ace in free agency. Anybody you want, he could have had them. The Chargers, they've been in and out. You know, I don't know if, you know, where he went, but his team is looking on the downside, and he's the guy with like $75 million bucks. So, you know, I'm kind of disappointed in that. I was hoping he would stack up and rebuild in free agency.
Yeah, I think the Buffalo Bills just like to have their Madden-generated players for whatever reason, and that's going to be a much cheaper way to do it. My biggest surprise is going to go back to the draft. I said this on the draft show, but I didn't have anybody that I felt had a bad draft. Everybody drafted really well. It was one of those weird drafts where it was not super top-heavy, but it was super deep, and so you didn't have those 4 or 5 guys that everyone wanted, but you also still had guys that were there in the 6th and 7th round. I got a 70-year overall player in the 7th round. I mean, that's a pretty deep draft, and I didn't see anybody that I felt like had a bad draft. I thought everyone drafted really, really well with a great turnout, so that was my biggest surprise of the offseason. Let's hop in and talk about the schedules so far. We're just going to cover week 1 because week 2 is not complete here yet. But week 1 is in the book, so let me give you a couple of scores, and then we'll talk about our surprises from week 1. The LA Rams win 27-24 against the 49ers, who've kind of been skidding since last season. I don't know what happened. That team was a 2 or 3 loss team 2 seasons ago. Last season stumbled out of the block, never recovered, and they're already off to an 0-2 start. The Steelers with a 26-24 victory over the Chiefs. The Bills with a 47-42 victory over the Dolphins. The Panthers 31, the Lions 10. Your Bengals Houday with a big victory over the Patriots 40-14. The Cowboys with a 34-14 victory over the Redskins. The Jaguars with a 23-21 victory over the Seahawks. The Colts hanging 51 on the Texans. The Texans had 24. The Bears with a nice 22-3 victory over the Browns. The Broncos with a 28-14 victory over the Eagles. The Buccaneers squeaked by the Saints 20-14. The Falcons with a 33-7 victory over the Jets. The Giants 31, the Chargers 10. The Ravens 20, the Packers 14. The Titans 38, the Raiders 31-28. I'm sorry. And then finally, the Vikings beat my Cardinals 34-28. And that is your week 1 score. So, Houday, what is your biggest surprise from week 1?
I hate to call it a surprise, but I just kind of want to get it out there. The Steelers. Tavon, if you remember, he beat Ducks last year. He's a really great player, and I have really high expectations for him this year. It's weird. I'd like to see him in the playoffs, but I'd like to see the Steelers go 0-16, you know. But he can do it, and he's had a little bit of time to play with his team. He got to draft the players that he wanted, and so, like I said, it's not a huge surprise to me. But if you didn't know, now you know. Look out for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, he that was actually one I wanted to talk about too. But like I said, the Steelers get me because he plays Ducks and he plays these upper tier teams so well. But I don't know if he just gets relaxed or if he just some of the games that he should win, he doesn't win, and that's the only thing that scares me about Tavon. But if I had to choose a game that shocked me, and that would be and not really a shock, just the disparity of the game is Colts and Texans. I thought that would be a tooth and nail fighting game, and Colin came out and just tore the Texans a new one. And I expect that out of Colin, but I expect Massimo to play a lot better than that. And if I had to say that was one game that surprised me, just the disparity of it wasn't a close game at all.
Yeah, I mean, the Colts hanging 51, anybody hanging 51 on anybody is going to catch me off guard. To go back to the Steelers game, that one catches me off guard because if you look at the stats, there's nothing there. Like if you just cover up the scores and look at the stats, you really don't understand how the hell the Pittsburgh Steelers won that game. There's a lot of other games that kind of caught my eye, but I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Seattle Seahawks. Jacksonville squeaks by with a 23-21 victory. Those Seahawks are such a powerful team. Now, Brady is a great player, but he's also been MIA for a couple of seasons. I mean, he's just one of those guys that stays so busy in real life. We never really hear from him. He stays out of the chat. Don't really get to see blogs or nothing from him. And really has not even been a contender the last 2 seasons. But, man, he's off to a 2-0 start. And this was a very impressive victory against a very powerful Seattle Seahawks team. Anytime you can pick up a victory against the Seattle Seahawks, you've done something really well. And the Jacksonville Jaguars are off to a 2-0 start. And that definitely caught my eye and something that he may be a contender this year. Now, let's see what happens as it gets deeper, but he might be a contender. Now let's look at the AFC and NFC standings. I want to get you guys to give me some predictions here. Give me some predictions. We'll go through the AFC first. We'll start with you, Huday. Or actually, let's flip it. All right, we'll start with Huday in the NFC. We'll start Dwayne in the AFC, and then you guys can go back second for your own conferences. Dwayne, what do you see happening in the AFC? Start with the East and work your way all the way to the West.
The East, like I said, is always a tough division. There's usually a 3-team race. I think the new Jets owner is going to make that a 4-team race. I just don't think it's his year. I still think the Patriots and the Bills will be fighting it out for it towards the end of the season, but I have to throw my faith in Cincy. I think Cincy pulls that one out, if not by a game or 2 over the Bills. AFC North.
And when you say Cincy, you mean New England, in case anybody's a little confused.
Yes, Cincy and New England. I have to give New England. He's just so consistent. Every year he's consistent. And if the Buffalo will give him a run, I just think Cincy will pull it out. AFC North, it's got a lot stouter with Tavon and the Ravens. And like I said, Outlaw, you can't count Outlaw out. But until somebody can knock the champ off, the champ is going to be the AFC North champion. I just don't see nobody debunking him. He's ran through the first 2 weeks of the season, just ran over the competition. AFC South, I know Jacksonville's 2-0, but that's another one that I would not want to put myself in the AFC South. They're tough. Houston, Tennessee, they're all stout teams, but I think Colin wins that. I know he's 1-1 right now, but I think Colin ends up pulling that one out. Unless Brady just gets re-engaged and comes back to how he was the first 2 seasons he was here, when he was scary. I think Colin wins that one. In Indianapolis Colts, Colin wins that one. In the AFC West, it's Ducks division until somebody knocks him off. I don't think we even have to debate that one. He won last night against probably his toughest competition. It would be Denver or Oakland, since we don't know about the Chargers owner right now. But I think Denver gives him his biggest challenge. I just don't think anybody can knock him off that division.
Yeah, I think sadly we're going to have to replace our Chargers owner. He was a great owner. He always made me laugh. But he has just completely disappeared. I hope he's okay. I hope his family's okay. Doesn't like him just to disappear. But again, at the end of the day, we're all on the internet. And, unless you're super involved like us three, you don't really know each other. So he's completely fallen off the face of the planet, won't answer PSN messages or Discord messages. And so I think today we're going to replace him, unfortunately. But we do have some guys waiting in the wings, and hopefully he'll come back to us here soon and have a reason. All right, Huday, what do you think is going to happen in the AFC?
In the NFC East, I think it really the hinge pin in my mind is the Redskins.
Let's finish the AFC first. But when we go to the NFC, you'll go first. I'm sorry I confused you.
You're good. No, you're good. So AFC East, what do I like? I'll probably roll with the Bills. I mean,
nice.
Cincy, most of the time that's his. That's his little division, but really got to look at his team. I'm not sure if he was just playing different because he was playing me, and we played so many times recently. But he's gonna have to switch some stuff up. And I'm just taking the Bills. AFC North. I mean, me just because I'm me. I can't go against myself. I mean, I love you guys. I think it wouldn't surprise me if we have 3 teams in the playoffs. It really wouldn't, because the Ravens, they've only lost 1 game. And I really think the Steelers are going to get in this year. In the South, it's tough. The Titans are good, Massimo's good, Brady's good, but I think the Colts, no matter what happens in the AFC, I think he's going to end up in the AFC Championship game. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he ends up in the Super Bowl. He's playing great football. And let's see, over in the West, Ducks. I mean, just because he's Ducks, the Raiders kind of pop in and out. We're going to have a new Chargers owner. The Broncos have had quite a few internet snags because he's been moving, just had a lot going on with life. So I think that's the Chiefs to lose.
I'm going to go in the AFC East. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills. Here's the little caveat with the Patriots. So Cincy Bird I think, I could totally have this wrong because there's 32 of us, but I'm pretty sure Cincy Bird was thinking about resigning for the last season or two and then coming back for 18. And I told him we kind of don't do that. I mean, because then it would be hard to play all year long. And so for us as a league, he said, okay, he's going to stay. Just his activity may be down a little bit more because he's super busy with work during the summer. So I see him. Look, I see you, Cincy Bird. I appreciate you for trying, but I think that you're just not going to be able to put a lot into it. So this last season may be a wash, and I think because of that, the Buffalo Bills have an opportunity to win that division. Miami Dolphins, where you at? I'm looking for you. All right, Kevin, where you at? AFC North is all about the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm so glad that these other teams are stepping up to challenge you a little bit, but man, your team is hanging up 40 burgers on every team that you play. So yeah, until that stops, I can't go with anybody else. AFC South, I'm going to let my heart pick the Indianapolis Colts because I stole a game from him last night. That team is extremely, extremely good. But man, Jacksonville Jaguars are going to make you work for it. Tennessee Titans are always my unknown child that are out there. I expect them to step up any moment. We'll just have to see if that actually happens. And then when you talk about the AFC West, you have to talk about Ducks. He's in a division where guys are just having other things that are coming against them. So the Oakland Raiders, you never know what's going to happen there. The Chargers will have a new owner today. And then the Denver Broncos just hasn't been able to participate much because of his internet issues. But he's getting them resolved, and he should be able to play, but he'll be really rusty. And Ducks is not rusty. Ducks is a champion. And so that's what I'm looking to see happen in the AFC. Give me your one champion each coming out of the AFC. Go with you, Dwayne.
We're talking about as in one champion, like as in the whole AFC going to the Super Bowl?
Gonna make it all the way to the bowl.
Oof, that's a tough one. Because I really have three teams. I really don't, I don't know when to throw them out there. I got three teams I think that can win the championship. I'm gonna have to be. It's tough. I don't want to see that I'm jumping on the bandwagon here, but I'm gonna have to say Houday until somebody proves they can knock him off. Somebody's gonna have to tell me they can stop Houday because I watched his game last night. He was up 17-13 or 20-17. I could be wrong, Houday. And going into the fourth quarter, he drops 20 unanswered points, offense and defense, in the fourth quarter. Just scary. And until somebody can knock him off, I'm going to have to pick Houday to go to the Super Bowl again.
Houday, I'm not even going to let you give me an option because we know that you're picking yourself, and I don't want to hear any other lie that you would try to spit out there. So that means we're all in consensus here. I think Houday is by far the best team. There are some really good guys that are good at the sticks, but man, Houday has the entire package. He's got speed, he's got power, he's got athleticism. That is going to be your champion out of the AFC. So let's go over to the NFC. Houday, I promise you I'd let you go first to start the East and work your way west.
I think it all really depends on the Redskins. Jennings, he's a great owner. He's kind of been in and out a little bit. But I just haven't played him, and he put a whooping on me. He only won by I think maybe like 8 points, but it was like I was scratching tooth and nail just to stay in it the whole game. So if he comes around, I'm going to give it to the Redskins. But with him gone, it's kind of up in the air. It wouldn't surprise me to see any of these teams. If I had to pick one, I'd probably roll with the Giants. They're starting out 1-0. And I'm real intrigued to see what they do. But I think this division will go to the Giants in the end. Up in the North, it might not be the sexy pick, but I'm going to go with the Bears because they're starting off 2-0. He's super excited. He's got a new quarterback, and I believe Stubblefield. He's playing awful. It's terrible. QB's playing terrible. He's like 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and he throws for like 200 yards. But he won 2 games. So that tells me if you can win 2 games and throw for 1 touchdown and throw for 200 yards and win both games, there's something there. So maybe he'll pull it together. But I'm rooting for the Bears. Down in the South, I mean, until Wayne, until something happens, I gotta pick the Falcons just because he's consistently made it to the Super Bowl and championship game. And let's see, we got the West here. The East.
Wayne, I'm coming for you.
Over in the West, that's a tough one because this is, I think, the only division we have, in my opinion, that all these teams are playoff teams, like every year. And it doesn't, it's always, you're going to have 2, maybe 3 10-win teams, which is just crazy. I mean, really, I'm going to pick the Rams just because they're sitting at 2-0, but that doesn't carry a lot of weight because that can change very, very quickly. But I know Dawson made a good run last year, and at this point, I'll jump on the Rams just for the record alone.
Who's your champion out of the NFC?
I mean, I have to go with Wayne just because he keeps doing it. If he gets to where he's not in there, maybe 2 years in a row, I can start, honestly, going in a different direction. But I got to go with the Falcons.
All right, Dwayne, give me your NFC standings.
Man, the NFC East is just so tough for me to predict because I don't really know what the Giants and Eagles are about yet. Like I said, it's hard to count out the Redskins, but Big Hurt, man, is just consistently real good. And if he's engaged, he's another one. If he's actually engaged in his team and playing, man, he's a tough game. And I'm going to have to go with the Cowboys in the NFC East. NFC North is another tough one because if you had asked me 2 weeks ago, I'd peg Priest to be number 1 NFC North. As you can see, he's 0-2 right now. I know the Bears are riding high, and I know that they won a tough one this week against Maniac, and I'm not going to lie to you. I honestly would not have picked you to beat Maniac. But that was a big win, and so until you prove me wrong or prove me right, I'm going to have to go with the Bears to win the NFC North with Priest being 0-2 right now. In the NFC South, to me, I'm not going to jump my own bandwagon right off the bat. Keyword right off the bat. NFC South, this is the deepest we've been since we've been here. And when I say this, as in I think that all 4 teams are playing really good right now. I think DBL's engaged, and he's playing good. Chaotix put it together last season, a real good season, and he's playing good this year. And like I said, we have Maniac. And Maniac plays like a maniac. He's a heck of a player. It's really up in the air, but I would catch hell from you, Nate, if I didn't pick myself. I'm going to have to say until one of them knocks me off, which this is the year it could happen. I'm going to have to say that I'll come out of the NFC South, and I do think a wild card team will come out of the South. If not, and if it wasn't for the NFC West, I say 2 might come out. But the NFC West is the deepest division we have in this whole league. Like I said, you have the Rams, and I could be wrong. I say this every time. I think one of those teams has won the division every year. You've had 4 different division winners. I could be wrong, but I know that every team in that division has won 11 games, at least 11 games in the season so far. It's just hard to pick because you got the 49ers are so just stout defensively, but like I said, he's been on a kind of a downslope since last season. Nate, your Cardinals are well-rounded. You just got the bad luck of being in the toughest division there is. And Mo's scary. You can't count Mo out, but the way the Rams play, and they've kind of played out of their hand this year so far, but he runs the ball, and he takes care of the ball, and he plays good defense. I just can't pick against the Rams when you have that philosophy because it's just so hard to beat a team that doesn't turn the ball over and controls the 60-70% of the clock for the whole game.
Yeah, here's my picks. I'm going with the Giants. I think that they are the unknown, but they're not unknown to me. I know how good he can be, and he'll turn that team around. I think what's going to fight him is just a lack of talent. Taking over a roster that's sat owner list for a year. But he's a very, very good player. I'm going to take the Giants. In the North, I'm taking the Vikings only because of talent. I think the Chicago Bears are going to play much better football, but I think sooner or later the depth of talent is going to catch up with him. He just hasn't had enough time to build that roster. the Minnesota Vikings are very deep and very good. In the NFC South, it's all about the Atlanta Falcons. It is very, very great, though, to see the other three teams now playing really good football to challenge you and push you a little bit. But just like with the AFC, until someone knocks you off of that throne, I got to go with you. And the NFC West, I will not debate at all, is the toughest division that we have in the entire league. It is very, very tough. All four of these teams are very, very good. The three guys that I play against I'm surprised they haven't won championships. They are that good. I've got to go. This was a tough one because it really could go either way. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams. They did it last season, but man, when Mo gets that team rolling, it's going to be very good. And San Francisco gets some things figured out. That's a very, very good team. I'm going to go ahead and take the Atlanta Falcons to come out of that. That would put the Cincinnati Bengals and Atlanta Falcons facing each other. I'm not going to let either one of you tell me how that's going to turn out, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Atlanta Falcons just because I hope he takes the trophy back to the NFC. That's going to be a really great game. I hope that we can push it and promote it and maybe even give an extra day to push everybody to be there. It'd be great to have an OMFL championship game where everybody is together and watching it. So that is our predictions for the AFC and NFC and who we think will be in the championship game. Let's quickly talk about players. Each of you give me one player that you think will win MVP, I should say, one MVP candidate from the league so far this year.
For me, it's going to be Andrew Luck. Like I said, I think the Colts are, in my mind, they're going to the AFC Championship. I think he may be top 2 or 3 in yards so far. I think he's already thrown like 5 touchdowns. I just think he lost a close one last night. It was a great game, but I think in the end he's going to have to put up some monster numbers, and it's hard to compete with quarterbacks for MVP.
I mean, the guy's passing for 73% completion percentage. There we go. 5 touchdowns, only 1 interception, 465 yards already. He is playing spectacular. D-Wayne, give me your MVP for the season.
Well, like Hude says, it's hard to pick against a quarterback. Man, quarterbacks carry a lot of weight. If I had to choose one, it's not really out of the box. I think he was in the MVP conversation last year. Is Denard Amy from the Bengals. Man, he's ridiculous start to the season. 9.8 yards a carry, 325 yards and 6 touchdowns through 2 games. And with Hude's defense and with everybody so scared, and I'm not trying to tell you your strategy off Hude, so scared of Hude's deep ball that they do play in coverage a lot more, it's going to open up for this guy to run some more. And when you're ahead like Hude is, you can keep running the ball. And when you run the ball for almost 10 yards a carry, it's ridiculous. And if he can keep that up, because I picture Hude winning 13 to 15 games this year, I think this guy can have 1,600 to, I think he could possibly get close to 2,000 yard mark with around 15 touchdowns. So I realistically think he could be an MVP candidate.
Yeah, if I had to give you a prediction for him, I'm calling 20 plus touchdowns. I mean, the guy already has 6, and we're 2 weeks deep into the season. 6 touchdowns. He's halfway to the mark that you think he's going to hit, and we're only in week 2. That is absolutely amazing stuff right there. And you know what? That is actually one of the guys that has my eye as somebody that can get up there and that will compete. Just to be slightly different, though, I will try to pick somebody else, and I'm going to go with Jared Goff. I would go with Trainer, but I think that there will be an announcement later today that'll kind of show why I'm not going with Trainer. But Goff is 35 for 51, 558 yards, 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's going to have to get that figured out, but he is sitting at 2-0. He is able to make people pay for stacking the box against that rushing attack. And you know what? On a team where the defensive line is going to cause havoc and cause all kinds of issues, Jared Goff has the potential to shine, but it's going to be hard to win the MVP. I just had to try to pick somebody slightly different. Right. So let's go in reverse order. We'll go D-Wayne first. Give me your Rookie of the Year for season 73.
Well, that's going to be tough. Like I said, a lot of guys picked a lot of rookies this year that they're wanting to carry over. So you have a lot of big name guys that got carried over. But if I had to go with one right now, and it kind of jumps off because he's Just I think he was picked 13th in the draft this year. Is Thomas Lyons for the Jaguars. Through 2 games, he's got 3 interceptions. And that's, I mean, you're talking about guys on my team that go 2-3 interceptions all year, and he's got 3 interceptions through the first 2 games, and he plays on a juggernaut offense that we all know Brady has. If you can't ever count for anything with Brady, you know he's got a great defense. And this is just another piece of the machine, as they would say, that he runs, and he'll flourish in that system because Brady gets ahead. Brady controls the ball and makes guys throw against him, and this guy's just going to sit back there and wait for them guys to start throwing the ball.
Yeah, it's nice to have a 6-foot cornerback that's 93 speed, 94 acceleration, and has already in the 80s of man and right at 80 in zone coverage. Who do you think is going to be your rookie of the year?
Like I said with Madden, it's just hard to compete with the quarterback. We've got 2 rookies starting. I believe both came out of the first round. Stubblefield with the Bears, he's 2-0. But this is he's playing epically bad and winning games. So I can't. In terms, if he keeps winning games, maybe we can look at him later on down the road. But as of right now, I'm going to go with Bruce Dahl. He's played some really good competition the first 2 weeks. His completion percentage right now is awful, but he has a decent QB rating. He's got 92 QB rating. He's already thrown for 5 touchdowns. He's kind of got to watch the interceptions because he already has 4, but he's pulling in on 400 yards. So, that's not so bad. I think at the end of the day, the Dolphins have a really good offense, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him throw for 3,000-plus yards when it's all said and done.
And he's got some athleticism with that 79 speed, 78 acceleration. He's not winning a 40 anytime soon, but he is able to get out of the pocket and get by himself a little bit of time. When I look at Rookie of the Year, I immediately want to go to running back. I think that's the easiest spot to win Rookie of the Year. But the last couple of seasons here, I think the wide receivers have stepped up. And now I'm not going to pick my tight end, but I think he is playing way better than I thought he would play. I didn't even think he was going to get to start, and the guy is really playing well. But Kendall Sampy, a tight end for the Carolina Panthers, he's got 87 speed, 85 acceleration, 84 catch, 82 catch in traffic. This guy had 7 catches against New Orleans for 119 yards and no touchdowns. He's only got 1 touchdown the year, but he's got 10 receptions for 180 with 42 of his long and 18 yards per catch average. That guy is making plays, and I think just because you don't have a stud running back yet, the quarterbacks clearly have some issues that he could step up and win Rookie of the Year for the Carolina Panthers. And, that's going to be dangerous as we move into Madden 18. So there you have it. That is catching you up through week 1 here in the OMFL. The Daddy League page clearly needs a little bit of updating, so we'll get that done a little later today. But final thoughts about Season 72, week 1 of Season 73, and where we see this going.
I think overall, I think we're doing a good job of kind of keeping momentum. I just really appreciate you guys. Discord, there's always guys in Discord. There's always guys playing their games. We're still making content. I just think we're doing a good job, and let's just keep it up and finish strong.
Yeah, who just said it right? The first week, man, everybody played their games really quick and really. Well, I can't remember exactly when we advanced. Yesterday afternoon, and we've already halfway through all the games in week 2. I do like seeing the excitement, especially for being the last week of Madden. I know this is my first time being in the OMFL, so I can't actually speak from experience on how it goes towards the end of the Madden cycles. But these new guys, especially, man, they've injected a lot of excitement because, man, they were pumped and excited to play. And to me, it's kind of spread around that you see a lot of guys pumped and excited to play this season, and it's real nice to see.
Yeah, by far, this is a lot of momentum that we've had for a very long time. I think because it's such a good game, that has a lot to do with it. Most of all, it's guys like you who are investing into the league, giving us content, taking time to do these shows and the website. So give us a follow, Grown Folks OC on Twitter. GrownFolksOC.com is our website. You can look up Grown Folks Online Community on YouTube, Grown Folks OC on Twitch. Lots of ways to give us a follow. Give us a subscribe, a like, a follow, and even share some of the content that's coming out. Lots of content got done today. I got a CFM Roundtable done, The game of the week is done. And of course, we just got Press Pass Live wrapping up right now. So all this new content will be out. Dwayne and Huday are on board to help me with Game of the Week again. So we'll start getting some Game of the Weeks done. Lots and lots of good stuff. Go to the website, give us some content. If you don't know how to post, just type in !how blog. It'll give you the step-by-step directions. It's super easy. The only thing that we ask is make sure you post a high-quality photo. If you post a photo that doesn't look that good, I'll take it down and just replace it with something better. I also know that Madden Maniac is going to work on just custom graphics that is a default graphic. So if you aren't good at graphics or you don't have a good photo, you can just use your default team graphic to put up your blog post. But man, this stuff is awesome. I'm loving it. I appreciate both of you guys and all that you've done. Thank you for joining us on Press Pass Live today. I hope that you guys have a really great weekend, and we will see you next week for Press Pass Live. Good luck. Peace.
Shaking.